What's really good, my people? Welcome into No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. I am your host, Sean Little. Big Nick the Quick with me as always. NFL playoffs off and running. Divisionals in the books. Championship Sunday is on the way. We're going to break down all that. We got to talk about the Cowboys. I want to talk about Joe Burrow. We know the high ankle sprain with Pat Mahomes. We're going to break all that down. That's going to probably take us at least 60 minutes, easy. And then we're going to do a little NBA talk, buy or sell. Some of the teams, the East is broken down between 4 or 5 games, between like the 3 and the 10. We'll talk about some buy or sell teams across the league, who we like, who we don't like going into the All-Star break. You know what time it is. Stay with us. No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. Let's go.
Now look at Mossy. Really? Oh, so that's how you're going to play it. You going to do this? Okay, fine. That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that. And it became personal with me.
Big Nick the Quick.
How we feeling?
What's happening?
Chilling, man. What's the business?
Sure, man. You already know. NFL playoffs rolling.
Yes,
this
sir.
This is one of the best times. This is one of the best times. And it's like sweet and sour, right? Because we know now football is on the way out.
Yeah.
You only got, 3 games left?
Yep.
In the NFL season, which is crazy. And you say it every
No, we got
year.
we got the Pro Bowl flag football game, man. You can't forget about that, man.
There's the Pro Bowl coming.
What are the chances of you watching the Pro Bowl flag football game? Like any chance, even if you're at the crib, nothing on TV, you're not even turning to it? Not a second. Zero.
Not a
zilch.
Well,
not a gander.
Maybe I'll take a look just to like see what it's looking like.
Yeah.
But I'm not like planning. I would have to randomly be at the crib.
Yeah.
And I would have to remember that it was even on. Then I would have to turn it on.
Yeah.
And then digest it. So, yeah, probably slim to none. What about you?
Right. Zero.
None?
Not a chance. I think we have a volleyball tournament that weekend anyways, but even if we didn't, not a chance.
Yeah, for those who don't know, y'all, man, Big Nick the Quick is a volleyball dad now. He on the circuit, bro.
I'm out here on the circuit, man. You know what I'm saying?
Big Nick the Quick on the circuit.
I was in Milwaukee last weekend. I was out in Mokina this weekend, man. I'm out here, man. I'm out on the circuit, man.
You haven't got close. You haven't have to yell at any linesmen or anything, have you?
You know, it gets thick over there, man. Not too crazy. Not too crazy yet, but like I'm telling you, man, sometimes you got to bite your tongue. I told you got to come out to a game, man.
Dog, I'm trying to come out if it lines up next time I'm at the crib.
For sure, man. Come support. Shout out. It's fun though, like for real. Shout out volleyball. A lot of fun if you guys. I actually want to check out the beach shit when it comes to Chicago. They do the
I've done that before.
Tournament at that right at Lakeshore Drive.
Right on Oak Street Beach.
Yeah, it looks dope. Yeah.
I've done that a few times. It is fun.
Yeah.
They flat out build a stadium up over there. So
it's a party, right? They got the big speakers and shit, and it's just like a whole.
Yeah, everybody's just chilling.
It's a vibe, yeah.
Yeah, it's a vibe. It's a vibe. So yeah, I can't hold you on that. All right, let's jump into this, man. I want to talk about the Cowboys first, and then we'll get into the boys that are still playing. Them boys.
The who?
Yo,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, America. I'm sorry, everybody. I said they wouldn't win one playoff game. They did. They stole one. They stole one from the lifeless Bucs.
They didn't steal one. Come on.
You see that Tom Brady audio that was circulating when he was mic'd up in the game against the Niners? Oh, it was on Twitter yesterday. So I guess Brady been mic'd up for that game. They got smashed against the Niners.
Yeah.
And he's like trying to rally the team and everything. And like the whole squad is so dead. And you can just like hear it in Tom's voice that he's like, yeah, these guys got nothing. Like, he's like, come on, guys, come on. And it's just like guys just standing around doing nothing. So look, man, they stole one against a dead in the water Buccaneers team, but they are who we thought they were.
Okay.
The boys are who we thought they were. So let's hear it. Let's hear it.
No, let's get into it because so it's funny you said who talking about the Cowboys because we were talking about really quick, a little quick sidebar. We were talking about the Rui trade to the Lakers. And they were like, I don't know how it fits. My guy Maxie was like, I don't know how it fits with LeBron and AD. And I was like, who is AD?
The AD.
Who is that?
I think if you're the Lakers and you make a trade, you got to assume AD is not going to be there.
I said AD. I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, my man's plays for 3 months out the year. We're not worried about him.
I don't know who that is.
AD.
But no, I hope AD gets back and is healthy. But yeah, let's jump into this because I think the biggest question I want to ask you is what do they do?
I don't know.
Because this is essentially the same squad that was around last year.
Yeah.
And it's the exact same situation. 0-7 in divisional round of the playoffs since 1997.
Yep.
They just don't seem to have enough to get over the hill.
So, I mean, I think first of all, right, you can't really do anything about the Dak situation. If you watch that game, it's no secret. Like, that's on Dak. I don't want to hear anything about anything else. I understand the Tony Pollard injury was massive. I understand the defensive holding call was massive, but it was defensive holding. But when you really look at it, those 2 turnovers, the first one cannot happen. Second one in the red zone cannot happen, man. And that was what we had been talking about with the Cowboys. Like, the one thing that Dak started doing this year that he hadn't done before was throwing all these picks. I think they had the graphic up yesterday. It was like a 4% interception rate. 4% of his passes are intercepted this year. And really late in the season, it was really a problem for them. And then you look at that game on Sunday, it's what came back and bit them. They had no answers. Dak could not get it done for them. Once Pollard was out, they had absolutely zero answers in the running game. And that's where they are. So as far as what they can do, I mean, I think they need to rebuild. Zeke's going to be gone, right? There's no way Zeke Elliott's on this roster next year. You can't really do anything with the Prescott situation. Your defense played great. You have a championship defense. Like, the defense played great. But as far as offensively, man, you got to find some balance. You got to find a way to not put it on Dak like that. Whether it's bringing in different running backs, whether it's firing Kellen Moore and bringing in somebody who's going to have some more balance. But at certain points in that game on Sunday, man, they were just throwing prayers up in the air and hoping somebody was going to catch it. Like, it just got ugly. And for me, that's 100% on Dak, man. As much as I like Dak as a guy. I think he's a great guy. I think he's awesome. But as a quarterback, look, man, we can't give praise to these guys like Burrow who deliver in these moments and not, give the criticism to guys like Dak who it seems like fall short. And that's exactly what happened in this game. So I don't really know where they go. Because if you look on paper, their roster's nice. You got pieces you like guys you like. So it's like, I don't really know where you go. I don't know how you change your identity right now.
You have to get a new coach. He has to go. He needs to be fired. I don't want to hear about 12-5, back-to-back years, a playoff win.
24 games.
I understand that. But I've seen, especially here in New York on the day-to-day, what a coach could do for you with a lot less talent than what they got over there. Now, the Giants and Daboll, he might be one of the best coaches in the NFL. He probably is a top 3 coach in the NFL right now already. But they have enough to make a lot more noise than they do. And that's why they need to go get a new coach.
Does coaching fixes that game yesterday, though? Let me ask you that. I mean, does coaching or Sunday? Because if you look at that, over the last 2 years under McCarthy, Dak has thrown 60 touchdown passes. He's thrown for 7,000 yards. Like, so if you look at it from the regular season, weeks 1 through 18, as far as what McCarthy's responsible for and how they play, like they've done well. They've won back 12 games back to back. Like, that's not McCarthy's fault that Dak is laying balls up there on Sunday. Like, he can't go out there and play for them. Sean Payton can't go out there and play for them. I don't think it was, as much as I like to kill McCarthy, and there was absolutely things in that game that you can kill him for, whether it's not calling the timeout and letting 30 seconds burn off before you punt, whether it's, again, the penalties coming back and biting the Cowboys in the ass, it's whether it's them not having any real situational awareness in the fourth quarter once again. Those are Mike McCarthy problems. But the fact of the matter is, you're not in that position if Dak plays better. And no coach is going to make him play better. He played great under McCarthy. What is the other coach going to do? What next level is that coach going to take Dak to? I guess my question for you is there another level for Dak Prescott? What is Sean Payton going to come in and do for him in that game?
Oh, wonders.
What, they're going to go 13-4?
Sean Payton would do wonders for Dak because Dak would know where to go with the ball all the time. The talent is not the issue with Dak. It's like the mental side of the game and decision making. Sean Payton could clean all that shit up, I believe.
I don't think so, man.
Yeah, I think Kellen Moore is completely overrated. Well, let's go back to the first year in the NFC East.
That's why I even question the Sean Payton. Let's talk about Sean Payton real quick. That's why I even question the Sean Payton to Denver thing. Like, some of these issues are with the quarterbacks. Like, I don't think Payton's going to come in there and change everything. And again, if you're the Cowboys, what are you trying to change? You went 12-5 back-to-back years. Your quarterback is putting up numbers back-to-back seasons. If he hadn't gotten hurt this year, he would have had another 30 touchdown season.
And over
60 touchdowns over the last 2
Dak's
years.
career, he's crushed bad teams and been bad against really good teams. If you go look at the splits against teams over 500 versus teams under 500, it's drastically different.
And that's been across 2 different coaches.
I don't know what it is. Maybe hold on. Maybe I'll be completely honest, because I don't think Mike McCarthy's the answer.
You actually just said it.
I don't. Well, no. Let me finish. I don't think Mike McCarthy's the answer. I don't think Kellen Moore is that good, because he made no adjustments in a lot of big spots over this entire year.
Yeah.
The Buccaneers were dead in the water. I was on the Cowboys. I said the Cowboys. I was telling you the Cowboys were going to roll those boys. I already told you that. I knew what was going to happen in that spot. Now he goes on the road to play probably the best defense in the NFL in San Francisco, and no adjustments are made. Kellen Moore is putting him in tough spots. The Pollard injury was tough. Now, I am going to say this. I don't know what about it the entire situation is. I am a little bit of a Dak Prescott apologist.
You are.
I am. I have to. I don't know why I can't quit Dak Prescott or what it is, but I've seen guys in good situations and bad, and I really believe that he could get it done if he's in the right situation. Now, Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore running the show for him offensively, I think they can do better than that, and there's a lot better options. Just like I think Russell Wilson is going to come back next year and have a lot better season than he did under Nathaniel Hackett in year 1 in Denver. He's not as bad as he looked, and Dak is not as bad as he looked against San Francisco. Now,
hasn't this been the number 1 offense in the NFL 2 out of the last 3 seasons? Like, the Cowboys, their offense has absolutely been top 5 over the last 2 years. So that's what I'm asking. It's like, what is another coach going to come? And again, I am not. If you're a Dak Prescott apologist, I'm the absolute opposite from Mike McCarthy. I think Mike McCarthy is a doofus, and he shouldn't be an NFL head coach. And he's proven over and over why he shouldn't. Right. Yeah. So I know I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth right now, but to me, as much as I want to come in here and say this was Mike McCarthy, and had the game gone differently, right? Let's say Dak hadn't thrown those picks and we find ourselves in that late game situation and McCarthy does that shit with the punt, right? Then it's easy for me to come in here and say, did you see Mike McCarthy burn 30 seconds in a situation where you absolutely cannot burn 30 seconds? And that's still true. Again, the end of that game looks a lot different if you have those 30 seconds back, right? Maybe you don't have to put Zeke in at center and move your lineman out wide and do whatever the hell that I don't know.
I don't know what that was.
I don't understand. Yeah. I don't get it. I don't. Yeah. I understand what you're trying to do, but in 36 years of watching football, I've never seen it done. Ultimately, I think he wanted him to lateral it back to the receiver that was on the outside and have the 2 guards block for him in front while he ran downfield. But it doesn't make any sense. That's neither here nor there. But again, I can't. All that would be ignoring the fact that Dak played terribly on Sunday. And it's not just playing terribly. And again, when you look at it against Brock Purdy, right? And I don't think Purdy played lights out, right? I think he made some big throws. Kittle made an absolute dynamite catch for him. That's a once in a million type catch. But you know what Purdy didn't do? Did not turn the ball over. Did not turn the ball over.
He has not turned it over.
And that's what the game called for.
He has not to turn it over.
He doesn't turn the ball over. He's 8-0 with 16 touchdowns against 4 picks in those starts. It's about time people give Brock Purdy that respect. He's not out here managing the game. He's winning ball games for him. But he didn't turn it over. The one thing you couldn't do in that game, and those low-scoring games like that.
Everything is a premium, yeah.
You can't turn the ball over. And you turn it over early, and then you turn over again, and you probably should have had 2 more picks. You should have had a pick 6 in the 4th quarter if my mans didn't drop that. If he holds on to that pick, I forget his name. If he holds on –
you're talking about
57?
57.
Greenlaw, is it?
Greenlaw, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Greenlaw.
Yeah,
if he that's to the house. That's to the crib.
That's
every single day and twice on Sunday.
Yeah, he dropped it.
He dropped it, right? So Dak just didn't play well. He didn't take care of the football. And again, those picks that he threw, these weren't tip balls, right? These weren't coverage picks. These were egregious forced interceptions that you cannot throw. The first one, I don't know where he was going with the ball. The receiver wasn't even there.
Okay, so what do you do then? Okay, so like we know what happened, right? We know he had a terrible game. We know that he's shown that he could play sometimes. My question to you
just
is,
said your quarterback.
What do you do with the Cowboys?
Well, if you have let me ask you an honest question.
Okay.
What is a quarterback that beats up on bad teams but struggles against good teams? Who is a quarterback that beats up? and this is gonna kill me to say this. You know what you have on your hands in Dallas? Do you know what you have? You have the same thing they have in Minneapolis.
Wow.
Let's just call it like it is. And if he wasn't a brother, I'm gonna keep it real. If you and I both know,
wow,
I am
sick.
Listen, man, what's the difference? Though?
I am sick right
Crazy
now.
numbers, but when it matters, shrinks. That's what that was. That was shrinkage on Sunday. And I get the 49ers defense was great, but look, your offensive line kept those boys at bay for a little bit. You had the opportunity to do some things. Can't turn the ball over. Just cannot do it, man. But that's what you got. You have to say, tell me the difference, man. Tell me the difference. Pull up the numbers, pull up the playoff numbers, pull up the clutch numbers, pull up I don't know about Dak on prime time. He might not be as awful as Kirk Cousins, but the fact of the matter is when it matters, games like Sunday comes up short, man. That loss is on Dak. I don't want to hear it from anything else. And again, I'm never shy to criticize Mike McCarthy. I've been criticizing Mike McCarthy since before it was cool.
Yeah, I mean, let's move on, man. I'm sick. I can't go that low.
Kirk Prescott.
Hey, I'm going to tell you this because you refuse to answer the question on what they should do because you don't know what they should do. But I'm going to tell you they need to go. What I think they should do is they should go get another coach, keep Dan Quinn running the D, give him some money so he's happy. Go figure out a head coach and a new offensive system that's not going to turn the ball over because I've seen it done with Dayball. We've seen it done on multiple different occasions. Sirianni comes in, that offense is sensational all of a sudden. They're not turning the ball. Like, look at the teams that aren't turning the ball over that previously turned it over. The Giants, Daniel Jones was a turnover machine. Like, we're starting to call Dak Prescott a turnover machine. If you get him with a different coach and a different offense, I believe Dak could turn it around and be very, very good. That's the option you have. Fire McCarthy, get Kellen Moore out of there, figure out a way to keep Dan Quinn running defense, and then go from there. Because you signed Dak to the deal. He's around. Go retool a little bit, but you need a new head coach and offense because how can you show up to next season with the exact same motherfuckers running around? I don't get how you could do that. How do you do that if you're Jerry Jones? Like that's where you start to lose me. I don't know how you could show up on day one with here are the Dallas Cowboys and it's Kellen Moore, Mike McCarthy, and Dak Prescott. Those three on game one. You just can't do it. I don't see how you could do it. So the coach has to go.
Okay. On the field though. So do you do this? Let me ask you this: do you go after Aaron Rodgers if you're the Dallas Cowboys? Forget whether or not they'd move him to the Cowboys. Forget any of that. If you're Jerry Jones, right, knowing that Rodgers is available, right?
The coach has to go.
I'm asking you, do you go after a different quarterback? Not that Aaron Rodgers is Mr. Clutch. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago.
Let me make it extremely clear. I think more of the problem is McCarthy and Moore than it is Dak.
Shout out Dante. Dante hit it right on the head. Shout out Dante in the chats. Dak was the problem. It's not the coaching. You're acting as if coaching was the problem on Sunday. I have no problem with this conversation.
Yeah,
the conversation that we've had about the Cowboys the past couple of years, but it's not.
I think
conversation we're having about the Cowboys right now. That was on Dak. You are a Dak apologist.
I am a Dak apologist.
Big time, man. Big time, bro.
I like Dak, man. I'm rooting for Dak.
The light skin with the beard thing, man. That's your brethren out here, bro. You gotta put on for him, man. That's your man.
I like Dak, man. I like Dak, man.
I like Dak. Listen, man, as a dude, I love Dak. Great, represents awesome, but come on, man.
How about this? I think Dak has talent. I think he could play. I think he would really thrive under some different coaching. That's what I'm going to say. And the only option for Dallas, no, he doesn't. Not like Dak. No, he doesn't. Not like Dak. He doesn't.
Great talent. What's the numbers?
No, stop the cap. So I think Dak, they can't get rid of Dak. So the coach has got to go. You got to make a move somewhere. And those are your two options. I'm taking Dak before Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy every single day. That's it.
If Dak plays better in that game, do they win?
Yes.
Okay. And who's that on?
Also, this is such a Everything I'm saying sounds so apologetic to
This
Dak.
is really
it's kinda,
crazy.
It's like
Here's-
it's
and
actually kind of gross.
And I meant to
but-
call you out. I've been meaning to call you out on this because I've started to notice this trend with you. And this is new with you. You are an apologist for your people. Like Aaron Rodgers, big time Aaron Rodgers apologist. If Aaron Rodgers was Aaron fucking Jackson, who hasn't won anything in 25 years,
So you saying I'm loyal?
And shrinks in moments, you'd be killing him.
You say I'm loyal? That's what it is?
Because as hard as you go on the people you hate, your Matt Ryans and all those type people, is as much as you love the people that you will not criticize. Dak was fucking terrible.
No, Dak was bad.
Aaron Rodgers was terrible 2 weeks ago. Just call it like it is. These guys had chances to win games. Again, we look at Joe Burrow go into Buffalo in a snowstorm and get it done.
Well, we'll get to him.
Get it done.
We'll get to him.
Hey,
we'll get to him in a second.
Granger for the ones that get it done. You understand what I'm trying to tell you right now? And Prescott ain't Granger, baby. That's not him. He ain't for the ones that get it done.
Joey Granger.
Joey Granger.
For
the ones that get it done. You know what I'm saying?
That's funny.
That's what I'm talking about now. So let's call it like it is. Man shrunk when it mattered. Period. In the discussion. I love him too. He's a great guy. I feel for him.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Play better quarterback.
Yeah.
Play better quarterback better. Quarterback better than Brock Purdy. That's it.
Big spot.
Quarterback better than Brock Purdy. Aaron Rodgers, quarterback better than Jared Goff. I'm not asking you to move mountains. I'm not asking you to be better than Mahomes. I'm not asking you to be better than Josh Allen. I'm not asking you to be better than Jalen Hurts. I'm asking you to be better than Brock Purdy on Sunday when he could only put up 19. That's all I'm asking.
I'm gonna show.
And don't blame it on your kicker.
That boy trash too, though.
That's a whole organization. Whole organization is dust.
Speaking of organization, let's talk about this tweet because Nick got a kick out of this, and then we'll move on to Championship Sunday. Talk Mahomes, Burrow, the Eagles, and then the Niners, of course. But the team Twitter for the Dallas Cowboys came out and said Dak Prescott gave the ball away twice in a narrow loss to the 49ers in a matchup the Cowboys had a chance to win if they didn't again generate self-inflicted wounds. So I ask you this, Big Nick the Quick. This is beyond petty. I think so. Just so we're clear, there's an article attached to like the tweet. So I think they were trying to like quote the article.
There's also
like
a picture attached to the tweet of Dak hanging his head down. But
yeah, like they were trying to they were trying to paraphrase the article and then put it out in the tweet. But it looks like, you know, the organization is throwing him under the bus.
It looks like something like the newspaper would write and then put that headline above the tweet, but not the team account. It just doesn't. No.
Yes, it's a bad look. And I said this earlier in the year that Dak is the perfect quarterback for all the other noise that comes with being the quarterback because he never responds. He just kind of hangs in there and tries to deal with it, but that shit's got to be difficult dealing with Jerry Jones and just that whole vibe around that squad.
Listen, man, and that's why it pains me to go through the last 20 minutes that we just went through killing Dak, because I do think as a man, as a quarterback, and again, like you said, the stuff he's had to deal with, go back to the very beginning. He's a 4th-round pick, came in, took over for Romo, had to go back and forth with his contract, had to fuck up his knee before he got paid, finally gets paid, had to deal with who's the dude that was Cooper Rush situation this year, has to deal with Jerry throwing shade every opportunity he can, has to deal with and just the day-to-day of being the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, right? It's a high-profile job, and he's handled it well. He's gracious, he's humble, he's a role model. Dak is the type of person you would want to marry your daughter, right? That's the type of person you want running your organization. That's the type of guy you want up at the podium after a tough loss or a big win. So, yeah, all that is true. That tweet is absolutely unacceptable. You cannot have that happen. That is crazy to me that even got through. And sometimes with these social media accounts, like, yo, are there not layers of like approval? Like, does someone else not have the opportunity to see that?
It's not as many as you would think.
I don't think so. But the fact that it's still up, right? Like, that to me is just crazy. And you're saying again, like, this guy did it again. Like, it's his fault. He threw the 2 turnovers. You could write that headline 1,000 different ways to link to that story without putting it on Dak Prescott. So, like, whoever wrote that, they need to go. Like, that's not one of those like slap on the wrist type mistakes. If I'm Dak, I'm like, yo, that person needs to go. And whoever approved it needs to go. because that's an awful look. And it doesn't
No,
help
because
the narrative.
no. Because if
Unless
you're
it was
Dak,
Jerry
you
who
can't
wrote
do
it.
that.
It might have been Jerry.
Because it might have been Jerry. Jerry might have wrote that.
It sounds like a Jerry tweet, right? Again, Dak threw 2 turnovers again. The game could have won. I'm sick about it. Hey,
It sounds
Jerry
like
had
Jerry
a
wrote
presser
it.
ready 3.5 minutes after the game was the best thing I'd ever seen.
Yeah,
Great.
but he I was gonna say he can't bring that. I mean, that obviously can't come public because then that sounds like Trubisky saying to turn the TVs off in the facility type of thing. It's the same type of vibe. All right, let's move off of the Cowboys. Man, I hope my guy Dak hang tough, D Prescott, hang tough, my boy.
We'll be revisiting this conversation again next year. Don't worry.
Hang tough, DP, boy.
Yep.
All right, let's move over to Championship Sunday.
At least he got his money though.
Yeah, he got paid, man. Shout out DP, got his bread. So that's always the silver lining.
Unlike Lamar, who was like subtweeting the fucking Ravens and putting out his Instagram story a couple weeks ago.
You want to talk about people not writing tweets?
When you love something, you cherish it.
You want to talk about guys not writing tweets?
Yeah, right. That shit.
That dude did not write
that long ass medical opinion.
Oh my god, that was so funny to me, bro. I laughed at that for like 10 or 15 minutes.
Social media manager.
Who wrote this?
Who wrote this?
Lamar Jackson didn't write this. That's for sure.
Folks is eating Popeyes, drinking beer.
All right, let's move over to Championship Sunday. Talk to me about you want to talk NFC or AFC first?
Let's go AFC. Let's go AFC, but real quick, I do want to say this. Yeah. A lot of talk last week. Divisional weekend. This is my favorite weekend of the year, the best weekend of the year. Fuck that. I think we've talked about this before. The best weekend of the year is championship weekend. This is when it matters, right? Like, obviously, the Super Bowl's great, but it's so much hype, and half the time the game isn't that great. This is different, man. Championship.
The divisional. The only reason people say that, I think, is because you get 2 days in a row of 2 games.
Sure.
So you get Saturday 2 games, and you get Sunday you get 2. That's why people like the divisional.
I'll go ahead and say it. I don't love Saturday games, man. Saturday, you always got some shit going on, and it's always a chore to fucking catch that first game.
I agree. I liked
the Monday shit last week. I thought that was dope. Moving a game to Monday. And having a playoff game on Monday night was awesome.
Are you talking about when they gave Dak short rest?
Yeah. Come on, man.
Less day to prepare. That's what
he gave them short arm.
They gave my man Dak a little less day to prepare against the best D in the world, but that's all right. Anyway, man, I'm such an apologist for Dak. I gotta clean it up, man.
Bro. That's
I gotta go get.
I hope you go this hard for Jay Fields. I hope you go this hard for Jay Fields when they come at him. Hey, remember that.
I gotta go get some.
If Sean is killing Fields next year, remember how he treated Dak Prescott at this moment.
Dak, I'm pulling for Dak. Jay Fields, my dog. I'm ready to. We'll talk about the Bears another time, but let's talk about the AFC. All right, we saw Mahomes got it done on one leg versus Jacksonville. Burrow went into Buffalo and absolutely smoked out the Bills in Orchard Park, which I thought was beyond impressive. Every single week, we show up and give this dude Joe Burrow points on the spread, and he's beating people outright on the money line.
He is, yeah, he is.
So, go ahead.
Real quick, and I know we're up against time, but just real quick, as much as we're about to give the praise to Joe Burrow, I put this out in a tweet the other day. The honeymoon phase is over for Josh Allen, right? Once the Cowboys dust settles a little bit, the Joe Burrow dust settles a little bit, we do need to look into the fact that, hey, we've been hyping up Allen and this Buffalo Bills train for a couple of years now, and once again, they fall short, and they fell short at home against the Bengals, and they looked befuddled against that Bengals defense. Absolutely befuddled. And against Joe Burrow, they had absolutely no answer. So let's give it to the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, because, again, I'm big on credit where credit's due. Give Josh Allen his credit. Give him his dead flowers right now. But that to me is a game plan issue as well, too, because at some point, you've been the biggest on this. At some point, you have to run the football. You have to run the football. You cannot. Josh Allen can't be your leading rusher with 8 attempts in a playoff game when it's snowing. It just cannot happen. So I will say that. You want to talk about coaching issues? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Dorsey. And
Josh Allen has been to an AFC Championship game. That's one thing that he could hang over Dak Prescott's head. But I mean, he's been turning the ball over at a crazy rate as well.
Crazy.
So
Pick Sunday came late, but it's not
super,
like
that shit didn't. Yeah, it's super
He was
late.
not Mr. Accuracy in that game, though. I mean, he missed some throws, and then again, they're so one dimensional. Like you just know what's coming with them at all times. I thought that was a terrible performance, as well as Burrow played. Like I haven't heard enough the last 2 mornings on all the shows, given the Bills and Josh Allen the criticism that they deserve, because I thought they just didn't show up at all. Like didn't show up
from the jump.
Yeah,
I had a guy that I work with. Shout out my guy Tim. He does audio for my show at MSG, and he was working the game. And take this with a grain of salt. I believe what he's saying, but it's easy to say it after the game is over. He said that they looked flat in the tunnel. Buffalo.
Wow. They played like it
because he was in the tunnel. He's working the game like on some like audio camera type stuff, and he's like, I saw both teams pregame. Cincinnati looked very confident and poised and ready to go
doing the turnaround,
and Buffalo looked flat before they came out. So I thought that was interesting.
I don't doubt it. They look like it, man. They did not show up at all.
Yeah, they looked like they were flat
at home.
They wanted to do with that game for whatever reason. Let's get to the meat of the conversation. Let's talk about Joe Burrow.
Yeah,
this guy's different, man. I don't know how else to say it. The way he moves, the way he talks, where he puts the ball on big time spots,
placement,
the decision making. He doesn't make any mistakes. In the snow, on the road, doesn't matter. This guy is different. We talk about the accuracy, the ball placement. I've been saying this now for weeks. We've both been talking about it. There's accuracy, and then there's Joe Burrow.
Yep.
He puts the ball where people I haven't seen do too often. Herbert can put the ball in places from different arm slots, but from a touch standpoint, from a catchability standpoint, it's not even close. Joe Burrow's the best in the world.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head. You look at guys like Herbert, guys like Mahomes, even younger Rodgers especially. Like these guys can make throws that only a handful of people have ever been able to make. Joe Burrow consistently puts the ball in the best spots of any quarterback I have ever seen. It's not just accuracy, right? Accuracy to me is getting the ball to the place where it needs to be so that your receiver can make a play, right? Fitting it into tight windows, things like that. Joe Burrow's not just fitting it into tight windows. His receivers, I've said this multiple times, they don't make adjustments. They do not have to make adjustments. Jamar Chase is able to catch and run because he's wasting no time making adjustment. He is catching the ball in stride. The ball lands exactly where it's supposed to go every single time. Hands out, the ball is right there. So again, you can look at other guys and say, hey, from a talent perspective, certain guys can do things that he can't do, that he might not be able to do, but they can't do what he can do. I've never seen anything like it. And you go back to college, it was like that, right? Remember we watched the Clemson, the 6 touchdowns? We pulled the highlights in that.
Was that Clemson?
Was it Clemson or LSU, Ohio State? Clemson. I think it was Clemson. It was because it wasn't Ohio State.
Yeah.
It was Clemson. He threw the 6 touchdowns again. Some of those balls, the balls are constantly landing. And imagine a basket, right? The receiver's hands are a basket.
No,
He's putting not even a basket, the little fucking hole in the net that you're trying to throw through, because that's what he's doing. Remember the NFL QB skills competitions they used to have? Yeah. Burrow would be elite at those. So 100%. You add that to the confidence. You add that to the way he carries himself. You want to talk about what they saw in Buffalo's tunnel as far as people not being ready and not being fired up. I guarantee you it's the exact opposite in Cincinnati's tunnel. They are 100% ready to go. He carries himself in a way that he's ready to go. He didn't care about the snow. He didn't care about being in Buffalo. He didn't care about none of that. Did not matter. You can go back to last year. My man was playing behind a battered offensive line. Offensive line
same
was
thing
terrible.
as this week.
And this year, too, it's not much better. Offensive line is trash. No excuses. It doesn't matter. You know how hard it is to play under pressure like that all the time? You look at some of these – we talk about Brady all the time. I love him, but Brady had a clean pocket for 15 years in New England. That's the only thing they paid was linemen, right? You look at Burrow, that pocket collapses quick, and he has to stand in there. He has to take it. It's already cost him a knee injury, and he's not scared of that. That's another thing. This guy's been hurt before. Right, he's not scared.
People almost forget about that. His lead front leg was literally destroyed. Like I actually was on his Instagram the other day and saw a picture. He's standing there with shorts on. There's scars all through his leg. His knee got blown up. ACL. I believe it was multiple ligaments. He's unflappable.
And came into this year hurt. He got hurt in the Super Bowl. He was hurt in the Super Bowl. We were worried coming out of that Super Bowl that is this going to be another injury for Burrow? Like, is this going to linger into next year? That guy is unfazed by anything. So, again, talent is one thing, man, but that mentality,
it's different.
That mentality is different, and that shit it's contagious. It's contagious.
You know what I'm saying? 100%.
Yeah,
it's super contagious.
This shit is contagious. So
absolutely,
that shit matters. That shit resonates throughout the entire organization, throughout the entire building, and the man delivers. So he can carry himself that way. When he throws the pass pregame and turns around and the camera just happens to be there, that's just not an accident, bro. Like this guy, he moves 100% different. But it's not just the confidence, the swagger, the moxie. It's how he plays.
No doubt. No doubt.
Nobody wants to see them. And you want to talk about the one team that's not scared to go to Arrowhead. The one team that's not scared to go to Arrowhead because Josh Allen didn't want to go. He's lucky that shit would have been played on a neutral site because he don't want to go over there. But you know who's not scared to go over there? Joseph R. Burrow. I don't even know his middle name. You understand what I'm saying?
It's true. It's true. The mentality is different. How he goes about his business is completely different. I think that's the biggest thing. I've told this story before. I knew this dude. This is when I knew this dude was really different. Like we had seen the 6 touchdowns in college. We had seen it all. He played the Bears and he threw 3 interceptions on 3 straight throws.
And we were on his ass.
And they panned to him on the sideline after the 3rd one. He was standing there like they had just scored a touchdown. Unfazed, didn't care, came out and almost brought them back to win the game. The Bears ended up getting the W. But Burrow almost brought them back. It's just like it never happened.
Yeah.
The kid is unflappable, super locked in. This is one of my favorite guys in sports, period. No question.
Sure.
Probably my favorite quarterback in the NFL.
And you know what he does? And the arrogance and all that's in a very likable way. Like there's unlikable arrogance, like your boy Rodgers. Like he's just not a likable human being. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you can love him as a quarterback, but you wouldn't want to spend any time with Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Burrows is different, right? It's like, yo, this is the guy. He's the guy you want to be around. Like he's cool. It's like a down to earth, but I'm the shit. I'm that dude. You know what I mean? Don't test me, but whatever. Yeah. I don't need to tell you how great I am. It's just how I move.
Right.
I move different. I got the cigar. I got the shades. I got the chain. It's real. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, it's just how. Yeah, it's.
So we'll see, man. I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I was low on the Bengals coming in. The Bengals, I want to treat them like the Suns. I was like, hey, fucking the Bengals are going to be a team that's going to disappoint because I felt that those offensive line issues would come back to bite them in the ass, but so far they haven't. So shout out to him, man. And it seems that. When it matters
what about the question on the Super Bowl window? And he instantly says the window is open as long as I'm playing quarterback.
I am the window.
I am the window, bro.
I am the window.
What? I was like, man, this dude is different.
And you want to be playing your best football right now. And for the second straight year, in the second half of the year, this team has gotten it going. Yeah. And momentum's a motherfucker, man. That was Buffalo's problem. Even though Buffalo was winning games, they did not have momentum going to the playoffs. No one felt comfortable about that team. Yeah. They were very, very slow. Allen had a lot of mistakes. His shit kind of went off the rails in the second half of the season, right? Whereas the Bengals were going the opposite direction. It's like, oh shit, these boys are taking off. Burrow's playing his best ball, and he's got the team on his back. So
Let's talk about Kansas City. Where are you at with this injury? This is one of the highest variance spots I've seen in quite a long time, right? Coming into the game, the number opens, Chiefs are a small favorite, -1.5, -1. It's now flipped to Bengals +1, +1.5, depending on where you're looking at it. All that says to me is that people are starting to get information that this dude is going to be in bad shape, which we kind of think he is. And I was talking to our guy Eli about, like, how do we see this playing out? And Eli said right away, he goes, "Oh, I've seen this movie before. He's going to come out super taped up, super drugged up, and he'll look okay in the first quarter. And then the second quarter, come late second quarter, it'll start to look a lot worse.
Yeah.
And then the second half, he's really in trouble, and he's limping around all over the field. Now, we need to confirm this because me and Eli were talking about just like different plays and how we should go about it. But Eli said he's 99% sure that you can only get one shot, like for the day. You can't go back to halftime and re-up. Now there has to be some other type of
like
thing.
Any given Sunday, there's no.
My man. It's not Varsity Blues where you can just go fill it up all day long, right? But there has to be some type of other pain reducer or killer that they're going to give him at the half. But I thought that was interesting, and I tend to agree with him. This is a 4 to 5 week injury. This is the regular season. Now you're telling me he's going to turn around in a week? Now, keep your eyes open on the information that comes out. When we know he'll be in a walking boot, we know all of that. Let's see what they're saying come midweek. But I just can't see him being 100%. And he hasn't been able to beat this dude when he's 100%. So now you're telling me that he's going to beat the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow on one leg? Where are you at with it?
Yeah, the thing that concerns me the most about that is when he came back into that game last week, he looked bad. Like he couldn't move. He couldn't throw off his foot.
He had a couple. He did have a drive, though. He went down and scored and got 6. And, like, the numbers were overall okay, but yeah.
No, but the eye test to me, like the way that he was moving on that leg, and also the way that Mahomes needs to move to be effective, right? Yeah. Mahomes needs to have his legs to be effective because that is how he does Mahomes things. Right?
Mahomes and Burrow are two completely different quarterbacks in that sense.
Yeah, with limited mobility, right? And it's not because Mahomes is trying to get 30 or 40-yard scrambles. It's because that ability with his legs and to almost do that awkward, unthinkable shit that he's able to do, so much of it is his legs. Obviously, the arm strength is elite, but the legs are the base of everything that he does, right? So when I watched him in that game, and on certain plays, I'm watching how he's moving on that foot, how he's trying to compensate, right? And it just doesn't look right. He is clearly in pain. So I think Eli hit it right on the head. He's going to get the shot in the beginning. It's going to feel good for a while. But once that pain comes up, depending on what level he's at on Sunday, and we really won't know till right before and you're not going to know till you watch him play. We'll put it that way, right? They're going to try everything they can to make not any information leak. But like you said, the line's already moving to the point where it is. I'm very, 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 very concerned because, like you said, they have enough trouble beating them. They cannot beat them. Lost 3 straight times with Mahomes at 100%, right? With Burrow coming in this confident, you need Mahomes firing all cylinders. So I'm very, very, very concerned. I would lean heavily, actually, towards Cincinnati on this game. And as much as it pains me to say that shit didn't look good, man. It really didn't look good.
Yeah.
If they weren't playing against Jacksonville, I think they would have had some major problems.
Yeah, I think it was very close to being the Pollard piece. He got lucky. It wasn't a little bit more under my man's body weight. Carell's is snapping and he's done.
For sure.
So,
and you know why else they're really lucky too is that Henny led them on that touchdown drive before the half. That was massive.
98 yards.
Shout out Chad Henne, been in the league like 12 years, made a whole bunch of money.
14 years.
Shout out Chad Henne, man. Henne family's doing great. Yeah, like that to me, Henne leading them on that touchdown drive going into the half was absolutely massive. You had to score right there. You did not want to go into that game. What it would have been 10-10, right?
I believe, it was.
It would have been tied up at half, and you're bringing out a hobbled Patrick Mahomes. No, you need to go up into the half, up a touchdown, and give
98 yards.
Room. Yeah, 98-yard drive, excellent drive by Chad Henne.
Yeah, no doubt.
But he's not going to be able to do that over 4 quarters against the Cincinnati Bengals. I'll tell you that right now.
There's not a chance that Pat doesn't play.
No, there's zero. No, he's playing. He's going out there. Oh, he's going out there.
Yeah,
you're gonna take him off the field. Yeah, that guy's playing. There's zero chance he's not playing. If he wasn't playing, I feel like we'd know by now.
I disagree with that, but
you don't think so?
Yeah, no, we're not gonna know anything. And like you said, I think
someone's at practice watching Chad Henne someone's at practice watching Chad Henne take 80% of the reps.
That's also the interesting thing too. Does Pat just not take any reps this week? He probably not going to practice at all. How could he?
Yeah. He probably doesn't.
How could he practice?
Yeah, that's
true.
He
can't practice. He won't practice. So, yeah, I don't know, man. This is a really, really high variance, interesting spot because I can see Cincy going in there and busting their ass with Mahomes not being able to move.
Yeah.
If I'm Cincinnati, my whole game plan is locking up Travis Kelce. That's the only thing I'm focused on all week.
Yes.
And if you could slow him up and Mahomes is on one leg, man, I don't know. I don't know how they get a win.
I think
I don't know how they get it done.
I think many people have tried to slow up Travis Kelce, and it seems to be impossible. I actually want to hit on that point where we were talking about Kittle. Hey, look, Kittle, Kelce, these guys are taken from the Gronk playbook of just get it to these guys, man. Kittle had 14 catches on Sunday. Just kept going to him. He couldn't do anything about it. When they need to move the ball, they just go to Kelce. When the Niners need a big play, they just go to Kittle. These quarterbacks fully understand these tight ends are unguardable. So, yeah, I think that's a huge point. They can try to stop Kittle all they want to. But if he's operating in space out there, Kelce, all they want to. If he's operating in space like he always seems to be, you lose Cheetah, Kelce's still wide open. I don't know. It's like he comes off the sideline.
May have something to do with the coach, but I don't really know. Who knows? It might just be all Mahomes getting him open, but what do I know?
It doesn't matter. We open all he wants to. If he's throwing those Dak noodle arms, it doesn't matter.
What do I know? It might have something to do with a great offensive mind and a coach that really helps the quarterback.
We're on minute 49. We're on minute 49, and Sean is still apologizing for Dak Prescott throwing 2 terrible
just an observation.
Picks. But look, man, either way, it's going to be intriguing. This is the intriguing matchup for sure. Whatever. There's so many questions. Can Burrow keep it going? Is Mahomes going to be 100%? Now, if Mahomes is 90%, we got
impossible though, right?
Yeah, it didn't look it.
Impossible. How is he 90? It's impossible.
He is impossible though. That's Mahomes.
Some
guys defy logic though. You know what I mean?
It's true. It's true.
This is the best quarterback. This is the most talented quarterback we've ever seen in the NFL.
Yeah. So stay tuned on that. But yeah, man, I would make Juju Smith-Schuster
I threw that up for you. You didn't take it. I thought you were going to come with a Rodgers take. I said this is the most talented quarterback we've ever seen in the NFL.
We've ever seen? I mean, he's up there for sure.
He's there.
I mean, yeah. Motherfuckers forget. You got to go back and look at. You got to go
Hail
back
Mary
and pull
Rodgers.
up
Yeah, Hail Mary Rodgers.
Go back and pull up.
Hail Mary Rodgers was great.
People will forget Rodgers next season. They'll be saying that. They'll be saying he was weak. All types of crazy shit. So, yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
Super Bowls.
But yeah, they're gonna say like, yeah, he got the same amount of rings as Brad Johnson, like all Trent Dilfer and Aaron Rodgers got the same amount of rings.
Got that many rings.
Anyway,
Eli got one more.
So yeah, we know how that goes. But yeah, I would make Juju Smith-Schuster have 15 catches before Kelce goes for 12 again. Like that just can't happen. Figure out a way to slow him up. You win the game versus the Kansas City Chiefs, but that is a tall task. All right, let's go to Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts, another guy cooking with a great offensive game plan. Sirianni has had those boys locked in. The health was the big question for Hurts coming in. He looked solid.
Yeah.
Looked very good. Overall, the team in general just rolled up the Giants. Just a different class, different league.
I expected that.
Great season from the Giants. We know that. Keep it moving.
Great season from the Giants. Excellent matchup agast the awful defensive Vikings. Made
perfect
Daniel
spot
Jones,
to get a playoff win.
For sure.
Great.
Absolutely.
Get the playoff win.
Feel great about it.
And keep it moving, right?
Yeah.
So Now San Francisco comes to town. This is a really interesting matchup. Where do you lean? What do you think?
I'm leaning Eagles pretty hard. As much as I like the Niners, I think
minus 1.5 right now.
Yeah, I know, that's funny. That's yeah. I think that's low. But yeah, I think that's a tall order for the Niners to come to Philadelphia against this Eagles defense, against Jalen Hurts. This is not the Cowboys. The Eagles have looked. I mean, I guess those last few weeks when Hurts was injured, they didn't look great, but he seems to be fine. Looked awesome last week. I think he's as close to 100% as he's going to get. This Eagles thing just kind of seems like they're the team to beat, and I think it's just a lot to ask Purdy to come in there. Like Purdy can't have the game he had on Sunday and beat the Eagles at Lincoln.
Boy, it is gonna be raucous down there.
Yeah. So that's
an understatement, I think.
For sure.
It is going to be crazy in Philadelphia. And we talked about Purdy hadn't played a top 15 pass defense coming in, and he played one against Dallas, and that was the first taste of it. It was at home. He didn't make any mistakes. He didn't turn it over. Shanahan didn't put him in any too big of a risky spot, like where he had to drop back. I've still yet to see him have to drop back and get busy. He did have to throw it a bunch in Las Vegas against the Raiders.
He had to throw it against Seattle too.
Yeah, he threw it a bunch, but that's another at-home spot against a poor defense. Like, this is different. Yeah. They're going to Philly, who has James Bradbury, who has Darius Slay, who has, I believe they're one of the top pass defenses in the NFL. I think they're like 1 or 2. So
he's got to play better. There's no doubt about it. And he's got to play big. I'll say this about Purdy. Again, not to Burrow's level, but there does seem to be a confidence there. That guy. He is not. He looks like he belongs. Like, he's not over there like a deer in headlights. Like, I'm supposed to be here. And you talk about a guy who probably actually had zero expectation of playing any football this year, right?
Yeah, zero.
At no point did he think he was going to play this year. And it's not only played, but it's played extremely well. Again, 16 touchdowns against only 4 picks and 8 wins. And again, you think, hey, it's sometimes it's cool for like the first couple games. I think Cooper Rush got lucky with that. When teams have no film on you, they don't really know what to look for. But you're talking about 8 games going now of Brock Purdy doing what he does, and teams still really haven't stopped him.
Great offensive system.
Yeah, great offensive system, but great. Come on. Absolutely. That goes without saying. But listen, the guy is playing with a lot of confidence. I don't think he's going to be scared, and I don't think Shanahan's going to be scared to ask him to do what needs to be done. The question is he going to be able to do it? Right? Yeah. It's going to come down to execution, 100%. And that Philadelphia defense, that Philadelphia defensive line, and offensively the way that Philly kind of just brings it to you, man, that's going to be a fun matchup.
The atmosphere is the key.
I would actually lay the 1.5 for sure.
The atmosphere is going to be the key. He hasn't seen anything like what he's about to see.
No. Every week he hasn't seen anything like what he's about to see. I know it's more. No. But I'm just saying, like, this moment is already massive.
This situation, Christian McCaffrey's dealing with a calf injury as well. Yeah. I know he scored, but they kept cutting to him. He was putting heat on his calf. He was stretching out his calf a bunch on like a stretching device out there over on the sideline. This is going to be a different type of spot. I believe in Kyle Shanahan. I think he gets it done. Week in, week out, puts his guys in great situations. I'm with you. I gotta go with Philly here in this spot.
You laying the 1.5?
Yeah, I think that goes up.
I think that number is low. Yeah, I'm surprised.
What would you make it? I told you. What did I text you right after the game? I said I'll make Philly 1.5 right here.
Yeah,
because I think that's just what it is. Like, let's not forget about this defense Jalen Hurts is about to see now too.
For sure,
he hasn't seen anybody like this either. But I think they get call it what 2.5, 3
I would have said 2.5
home field advantage.
Yeah,
it's going to be a full 3, I think, in Philly on Sunday.
Yeah, that's why I would have said 2.5.
Who has the late game?
Who does have the late?
Because is the late game in Philly?
No, late game is Bengals Chiefs.
Okay, I wish the late game was Philly, low key.
Nice dark and cold.
dark cold, and they people gonna be fighting in the stands, all that Niners shit, bang bang. That because the Niners fans are gonna show up too. It's gonna be crazy down there. Part of me wants to go down there for the game. I kind of just want to. I'm gonna go get some Bear shit. And
you gonna go to the game or just go to Philly?
Oh, if I go, I'm gonna go to the game. But to get in the door, I'd have to pay a G probably.
Yeah.
And you know how that goes. No one else is gonna want to pay a G because why would anybody else?
Yeah.
I seem to, I'll pay the money to go feel the experience and go check it out. But then I might be able to find a Lucy, like a single for the low.
Maybe.
But
doubtful.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be fucking crazy.
Fucking NFC Championship game, yeah.
Like
against against, like you said, a fan base that also travels extremely well. So 49ers fans might be
but I could pay the G for the ticket, then bet a G on the Eagles, and then wash out and go home.
and then they lose, you can be down 2 G's.
Then we lose, I'm down 2.
You be like my man's who who was the dude who bet did he bet the Chargers? He put $1.4 million on the Chargers when they were up 27-0.
Yeah, bro.
To wash to get 11,000.
It's like 14,000 or something.
Yeah, it's like 14,000. Like dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, bro.
Clear money laundering activities that went backwards.
But yeah, I go. I'm thinking about going. I have a.
Like, is there ever any other as a gambling guy? Is there any other reason other than washing cash to do that?
Well, this is actually an interesting argument that I've had with a couple different people, right? Like, there's not a lot of spots where you could get like a 10% return on your money in 3.5 hours. That's how I think a lot of people are looking at this stuff. The 1.4 million is an outlier. But for example,
14,000 is 0.001%.
No. But that's what I'm saying. But like, how could you put up, 80,000 on a minus 800? How could you put up 80,000 to win 10? Right? Like,
that's more reasonable.
But do you see what I'm saying? Like that,
Sure.
Like those are the spots where I think like a lot of these analytical math guys are looking at it like, man, I could pick up 10% on my bread here in a spot where I really think it's going to come in. It's just like, playing if you bought a stock and it went up 10% in 3 hours,
sure,
you're fucking genius, right?
Yeah.
So like that's how some of these guys are looking at it. It all depends on your risk reward and how you're breaking it down.
Risk tolerance, yeah.
How many units you have at your disposal as well.
There's still no reason to ever do 1.4 million for 11,000.
No.
14,000.
Yes,
there's no that makes no sense.
Because you could
put that in the bank and get.
I was just gonna say you could literally put that shit in the Chase.
Yeah,
and figure out and
get your interest
and get more than that.
Some high yield account and
yes,
be like,
I'm
gonna
you
leave
could.
this here.
Yeah, it's that. Yeah, yes. You fucking
unless you can't put it in the bank, which is why you gotta watch for gambling money.
But then I'm pretty sure it was played on. If you have 1.4 million
also the feds are still going to be like,
where's your
1.4 million come from?
DraftKings, that means you had it in the bank.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So like,
that's
where it's like
some suitcase bag, man. You weren't doing this.
Exactly. If it's on DraftKings, there's at some point in a processor that got it on there. So yeah, I don't know, but
I think some of these folks just like showing these tickets.
Yeah, of course.
But even that one just makes you look stupid. But
yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Just like when I see those parlays, I'm cashing out all those parlays, by the way. I don't care what anybody says.
I saw an interesting strategy that I thought was funny that guys are now doing 2 slips. It's like, say they're betting $50. They're doing 2 $25 slips, cashing out one, then letting one ride. I thought that was pretty smart. Yeah. So like if you're going to do it.
I gamble to make money. So if you tell me I have first off, you never see me lay
You never see me putting. Yeah.
But if I did and it got to 6 and like my $25 was like $8,000, I'm fucking cashing out 2 picks ago because I gamble to make money, not to post my ticket and tell you. Like I would miss. Yeah. I'd put it this way.
There's a lot of people looking for glory that are missing out on bread. Yeah,
I'd miss the easy $8,000 more than I'd miss not making the 30 or 40. Trust me. Like I'd be like, oh, that sucks, but I'd be like, I fucking made $8,000 on $25. That's a good day. Yeah. I'm not crying.
Yeah. So. But the difference is you would never be in that position.
Never.
So that's the thing.
9-leg parlay is just you might as well burn money. I'd rather give it to charity.
Yeah, we'll leave it there. All right, let's move over to the NBA really quick. I got a few minutes here. So let's talk about the NBA We're going to do a little buy or sell. Big Nick the Quick's got some teams. We're going to go through, talk about them really quick, and give some quick opinions, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, trade deadline coming up here. So we're just past the halfway mark, right before the All-Star break. So things are starting to take form a little bit here. I wanted to ask you about a few squads. Should these teams be buyers or sellers for the upcoming trade deadline?
Should they be buyers? Not if I'm buying or selling them. You think we
should
talk about it?
Should they be looking to make moves, or is this team, pretty much wave the flag or look to retool for next year?
Yes, sir.
All right, first team I'm going to give you. This team you talk about a lot, Miami Heat.
Oh, it's absolute sell for me.
Miami Heat are currently in 6th in the East, 26 and 22. Winners of 6 of 10. You're a sell.
I'm a sell just because. Okay, how about this? I'm a sell. They're not going to sell.
Sure.
They're in a really tough position to sell, but this is their say they get the 6 and don't even have to play in the play-in, right?
Yeah.
First round out.
Really? So if they got the 6, they would end up playing against Milwaukee as it stands right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd have a tough time.
They're out. Like, they're not beating any of the top 5 teams in the East.
You don't think they could beat Cleveland in a 7-game series?
No. No.
You don't think they could beat Philly in a 7-game series?
No.
Okay.
Philly's playing extremely good basketball, and no one wants to give them any love
because it's so
everyone
touch and
wants
go.
to hate on those. No, it hasn't. Dude, they've been playing good ball since like the first week of December.
Yeah, winners of 5 straight, 1 8 of 10. Their Harden looks great. Yeah,
like 1 8 of 10. I would, if I had to guess their record from like the first week, like December, they've lost like 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, for sure.
They've been really, really good.
Really good.
Everyone wants to hate on them because of Harden and this, that, and the third. They've been awesome. So no, like for example, the fact that you even asked me that question was like, no, they're not. Philly would beat up the Heat in a 7-game, no doubt. Okay. So yeah, that's a really interesting one actually for Miami, right? Because they're just not a sell organization.
Not at all.
So like they're gonna try to show up.
They make a smart move before they sell.
Exactly. They're gonna show up and try to beat you with their guys, and they also still play really good at home.
Yep.
So it's like they still have a shot, but
I think you bring up a good point. They're not a panic organization. They do believe in the infrastructure. They believe in what they do, and they believe, and you've seen them do it before, that they can make a move here. And they can move. They can do these little fringe moves that don't seem like a lot, but these guys always end up showing up for them when it matters.
Yeah.
For sure. I could see them not selling, but you would sell if you're the man. So does that mean that you're moving on from Jimmy Butler? Is it not Adebayo, right? Adebayo is untouchable.
Yeah, no. Adebayo, Hero.
Untouchable?
Yeah, untouchable. This is actually a really good one because it's like my initial gut is sell because I know they can't compete in the East.
Yeah.
They're not going to win it. They're not going to win a playoff series. But I guess if they went out and added someone, it could really help them. So I guess they would be buyers.
So if you want to buy, if you're looking at that roster and you're saying, hey, we can make a move.
Yeah.
Maybe we can package Lowry and his expiring deal for somebody and bring in something else.
Okay, so I'll say they're buyers, but I'm not a believer in the Heat.
What is Sean doing? If you're Pat Riley, what are you doing with this organization?
I'm not selling right now. I'm selling in the offseason. How about that?
Okay, cool. So you're staying. Okay.
It's the last one.
How about the Atlanta Hawks? So one of the more interesting situations in the NBA, currently sitting in 8th, 24 and 24.
Yeah.
A lot of noise. I like to talk about pre-trade noise. Whenever you start seeing the little Trey does this, he took his own plane home last year. All those little rumblings, that's when you know an organization. That's when you know player and organization are on the same page. Again, remember the Kyler Murray Cardinals shit when all types of weird shit started to leak? That's how you know player and organization aren't on the same page, because when you are behind your guy 100%, shit like that never links. I guarantee you he's not the first guy to take his own plane home, but he's the first guy you're going to hear about it because there's clearly some issues there. So Hawks sitting at 24 and 24 on their own, a ton of interesting pieces, but it just doesn't seem to work together since that playoff series a couple of years ago. So what are you doing with the Atlanta Hawks? What are you doing with Trae Young? Beggar, are you buyers or sellers? And then what are you doing with Trae Young if you're the Atlanta Hawks?
Yeah, it's a really interesting situation because 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, it was like, man, this team is garbage. Then all of a sudden they've come on, have played well the last, 10 games or so. And
6 to 10.
And Trey Young is playing a lot better than he was. At one point, Trey was shooting like 28% from three. It was crazy.
Is Trey a mythical shooter?
Yeah, like
Trey's a mythical
that's
shooter.
a good question.
They tried to say he was Steph Curry, but man is not.
Is Trey Young a mythical shooter? Well, I was always on the Trey as like the most. I lost a lot of money on that Philly Hawks series. I had a future on Philly.
The Ben Simmons series?
The Ben Simmons series, yeah. I had like quite a bit. I'm like, there's absolutely zero chance that Atlanta beats these guys. Just like zero. I laid the number, everything, and they did. So it's a really interesting spot. Oh, man. I'm probably buyers. I don't think you could do anything with Trae Young. I think you have to keep him. I think you have to get rid of Nate McMillan because Nate McMillan does not rock with Buddy at all.
No.
Like that relationship is done.
And he's not the type of guy that's going to fold or capitulate to a star.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an old timer.
And I think Nate knows that too. So it's like, yeah, I'm just going to run this shit how I want to run it for as long as I can because they're going to pick Trey over me every single day.
Yep. And
that's what it is. I can't sell on year one of the DeJounte Murray combo. They still only played 44 games together. They've started to come on a little bit as of late. They've been playing a lot better. Hunter's back in the fold, who's awesome.
That's your boy.
Yeah. So yeah,
buy more for them.
Buy more.
Retool. Figure out what you got to do.
Figure out what you got to do. Get the coach. Do your thing. But with how wide open the East is, this is year one of that. I'm not ready to move off of that.
So Sean's not selling yet. All right.
Yeah.
I got one for you. This is an interesting one. Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, it's done.
Now, sell to me doesn't mean trade Devin Booker. Let's be clear on that.
No,
you're not going to move
everybody
off of
else
Booker,
can
but
go.
you got a lot of interesting pieces there that other people will take.
I would
Johnson.
Keep Devin Booker and Mikal Bridges, but don't you want to keep Aiden too? I think Aiden really hates being there, and
they don't love him either. That's another guy.
Yeah, the question is, who
Monty
doesn't
benched
like
him?
Who doesn't like him? Is it just Monty?
I don't know. There's no. That chemistry is off. You can watch them play.
Is the chemistry off because he doesn't like Monty and Monty doesn't like him? So is that why? That's what you got to figure out, right?
You would know if Chris Paul didn't like Monty Williams. To put it that way, Chris Paul lets you know when he doesn't like a coach, and you would know if Monty was the problem. I don't think Monty's the problem. There's been nothing but bad vibes for Aiden for the past year. They didn't want to pay him. Then he benched him. Then they said he doesn't care. They think he plays video games too much. It's again. So I'm serious. When the weird leaks,
these niggas in video games,
I don't know. But when the video game leaks start coming out, that's when you got to start worrying.
Yeah.
The video game leaks start coming out. That's when you got to start worrying. And there's video game leaks about Aiden and how much he plays Call of Duty and all that. So. For me, I'm a Phoenix Suns. I'm selling. That thing's bad.
Yeah, I think you got to sell. It shows how without Devin, they have been absolutely atrocious. So it shows hey, I think they took the distance. They had the window with Chris when he first got there. They were really, really good. Yep. Chris seems to be, falling off right in front of our eyes, which is understandable. He's had an unbelievable career. He got that final little Kobe deal, the little two at 45 per. Yep. So it's a little parting gift from the NBA to Chris Paul and his family.
Yep.
And they sell. Go. This is what I get really sensitive and pissed off about this type of thing is you clearly have a stud in Devin Booker. Don't waste any years. Try to get as much as you can out of those top years.
Well, don't damn
Lillard the shit. Don't damn Lillard the shit.
Wouldn't selling this year waste a year? You're wasting this year essentially.
Yeah, but this year's dust more than likely, right?
Yeah. So 17-7 at home, 7-17 on the road. So.
Yeah, just try to be back to a competitive winning team in the West as soon as possible. New owner. who's gonna spread the bread. This guy's awesome. The dude from Michigan State.
They're out here. His brother is the dude who's out here in Winnetka trying to buy up the lakefront property.
Yeah,
these guys they're like our age. They got big cash.
Yeah, go look. He did a Real Sports with Brian Gumbel. You should go watch that. Actually, it was really interesting. But he's gonna try to go out and win. He gives money to Michigan State so they can try to win.
He played at basketball.
Big
Michigan
booster,
State.
Played under Izzo. Really, I can't remember his name. I'm blanking on his name.
Matt Ipshin, I think.
Something like that. And he's going to try to. I would sell and retool that. No question.
Sure.
Keep Booker. Keep Mikal Bridges. Potentially keep Cam Johnson. Everybody else can pack it up.
All right, last one. Golden State Warriors. Do you sell on these young guys?
What
do you do if you're? That's the most interesting situation, I think, from like a long term, because you can't trade Clay. You can't, you know what I mean? Like you can't trade
sell.
Some of these guys. You can't sell. Like you just cannot do it.
You just got to try to win with the old and new.
You try to retool around this core again, or you try to keep letting the young guys grow? Because we've been waiting for James Wiseman to be a player.
Well, because who are you going to sell?
Wiseman, Kuminga, Poole.
For who?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
I think you just have to try to win with the old and new. I don't.
So if it doesn't work this year, it just doesn't work, which it's not.
So you're saying like try to get Steph and those guys another opportunity.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, man, if I'm the Warriors, you're actually in a spot where like
you just bottom out the young guys to go get maybe another little bit more older veteran help.
Do you believe in these young guys? I mean, Wiseman and Kuminga. Wiseman can't stay on the floor, and when he's on the floor, he's not necessarily that impressive. Kuminga's
what about Ty Jerome?
Shout out Ty Jerome.
That boy been cooking.
Yeah, he's nice. Like Jordan Poole, those guys. Like, what do you do with that team? I told you coming in the year, this team was fucking shaky. So what do you do?
Yeah, you know what this Warriors team feels like, and we're gonna get an opportunity to bet against it. It feels like the Buccaneers. We're gonna get in the spot. I'm like, well, Steph and Clay, man, like they got a shot, and they don't. That. It feels like one of those spots because
the only difference
the West is just so loaded.
The only difference is one guy can kind of put it on his back, whereas like in the NFL, Brady could be as fired up as he wants to. The rest of those guys, he needs his 21 other guys that are playing. So I don't know, man. I actually don't see any. I think last year was it. That was last year for the Warriors.
You were right.
That was it. They emptied the tank. They picked the right time to empty the tank. That was it for them. And I just think,
but out of respect,
physically,
you can't move like any of the boys. They're not going for that.
Might not make the playoffs,
but you can't move the boys.
Oh no, you can't. No, you can't. I thought you were gonna say out of respect, you can't count them out. I'm like, you can. No, you can't.
No, you can't move the boys. So that's what I'm saying. So but I guess the question here is like, say you're like, okay, I'm gonna sell and I'm gonna try to get these guys another run. I'm gonna try to add for Steph, Clay,
trade stuff,
Wiggs. Fuck no, you're not trading Steph. But I'm saying like we've been hearing about Kuminga forever. He's very, very mid.
Him and Wiseman, it's like, oh, wait till these guys like Wiseman. He didn't even play in college. We've been waiting for him to play since high school.
So it's like, like what do you do? Like I don't even know if they have enough to sell. I can't believe Andre Iguodala is still in the league, by the way.
Haslam can get a check. Iguodala can.
No, that Haslam situation is completely
great.
An anomaly.
You know he's got an ownership stake waiting for him as soon as he leaves too. He'll never leave.
Pat, that's his boy.
Haslam is from Miami, went to Florida, and has played his entire career as a United for the Miami Heat.
Yeah, it's amazing.
South Florida legend. You got to check in with Haslam.
What was that thing I said about the check-in?
Oh, they said you got to check, and the dude was at the Phoenix.
Oh, the dude talking about, if you coming to Phoenix for the Super Bowl, make sure you checking in because it ain't sweet out here. People were going crazy. They were like, make sure you step in. They said you got to check in with Larry Fitzgerald.
With Kurt Warner. No,
Kurt Warner.
Tap in
Larry
with Kurt
Fitzgerald.
Warner.
They said all the time. They were like, you got to check in with Dan Marley.
Hey, whoa, hold up. Low key, if you've ever lived in Phoenix, Dan
Marley, that guy.
You do have to check in with Dan Marley.
Dan Marley has
dealerships, movie theaters, malls, residential properties. Thunder Dan runs Phoenix. Don't get it twisted.
Thunder Dan out there, bro.
Thunder Dan is a legend in Phoenix, man. Check in with Thunder Dan.
So what would you say? That's a really interesting speak because
I don't think you can. You hit it right on the head. You can't.
I don't think they have the pieces to sell.
Yeah.
So Now, I guess you could just start unloading like ruin the next 5 years to try to get, these guys one more spot. You just start dumping ones.
Yeah, you
Dump
could do that.
Wiseman, dump ones, dump Kuminga.
I
But
guess you have Wiggins. You can move Wiggins. I don't know when you can
now
move
they
him. He
need
just
what?
signed that extension, but
Did
yeah,
you watch
Wiggins,
last year? You need Wiggins desperately.
Hey, listen, man.
Come on, man. You need that boy.
Wiggins with the
His
declining
reason
Steph and Clay might be a
Andrew
tough
Wiggins
sell.
is the second reason they won the title.
Yeah, for sure.
Steph, Andrew Wiggins.
Andrew Wiggins rebounding.
Like just flat out. Let's be serious. So
Yeah.
No. You can't move him. You would just have to mortgage all your picks, which potentially be worth it. But yeah, I don't know. This really feels like they close out this year just like this, and then they show up next year with a similar type of squad, and it just kind of fades out.
Some of these teams, though, like if you're the Warriors, or you're looking at the table and you're like, hey, is there a move I can make that makes me better than Denver, Memphis, Sacramento? Maybe, like, you know what I mean? Like maybe you could beat Sacramento and New Orleans in a playoff series only because of that championship mentality, quote unquote. But you're not going to be better than Denver and Memphis.
I'm gonna tell you this: I would love to see Denver go add somebody.
Yeah,
another like pure.
What do they need? What would you add if you're Denver?
I would add a tough at like you know who I would
JaVale McGee.
I would add a defensive first guy, and then I would try to get another scorer. But that could help come off the bench when Bones Highland is going for 45 in 5 minutes, and it doesn't matter. But they could use a little more scoring, and some D would help a ton, of course, as well. But man, they have a real chance to win the West, I think, if they could get a little more help. Similar to Memphis.
Would you add anybody if you're Boston? I know what I would add, but
man,
another big. I mean, if Time Lord's back, but if he goes down, that Horford and Cornette front court pairing really scares me.
Yeah, it's tough, and I'm gonna tell you this: they better hope Orlando don't make the play-in and play those boys.
They don't want to see them ever. They never want to see them ever. Orlando brings it. Hey, they got problems with the Magic.
They better hope those boys don't make the play, and they got to play in the first round.
Buddy came back yesterday. Jonathan Isaac came back. I forgot.
He looked good.
He was still in the league. Yeah, he looked fine, man.
He looked good. He looked good.
Shout out to him, man. Orlando.
All right, I got to run.
Roster, yeah, all right.
I got to run. This is fun. No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago, of course. Make sure you subscribe everywhere. Me and Big Nick the Quick. Follow us on Twitter at Chicago Flow at what is your shit? Quick 1086.
Yeah, I think it's Nick the Quick 1029.
Nick the Quick 1086. 1029. Shout out Jeezy.
Yep.
But you know the vibes, man. Follow us everywhere. Share the pod. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We'll see you guys next week. No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. We're out of here.